Thank you, Jane. It's an absolute pleasure to be standing here today. Obviously, in sending off Guy Bentley as our previous CEO to Glion to go and sprinkle his magic dust across the rest of the world and the Laureate Network, I feel a bit of a fraud standing up here in my first speaking engagement as the CEO of Blue Mountains. Really, it's Jerome and Jane and the team who have continued Guy's legacy to do a phenomenal job at Blue Mountains, but it's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's also a pleasure to be hosting this conference in the year of Blue Mountains' 25th anniversary. I mean, I think everybody in the room knows the amazing contribution to this sector that Blue Mountains has made locally and internationally. And I was just having a little look at what it had become, really. And currently, at this moment in time, we're in Malaysia, Thailand, China, Mexico, and Chile, and have over 35 nationalities on campus in Glion. It must be a bit squashy up there, Jane, so you're doing a really, really good job. We are also increasingly active in research. I think last year, last 2 years, there was 15 journal papers and more than 40 conference papers. And that's pretty critical to our Laureate Australia strategy, which I'll share with you in a minute. We also have given Jerome, our GM, the wonderful job of leading William Blue as well, which is a member of your conference. And even through the William Blue and Think Network, research and scholarship was identified as best practice in Australia from these higher ed providers in the TEXA Good Practice website and in their annual report. So we're incredibly proud of our institutions in Australia and their link and driving that nexus between research and high quality teaching and employability. This comes from the dedication of staff and students, and I'm pleased to see many, many students here today mingling amongst you who will just get a fantastic experience from this conference. There's far too many people to acknowledge, and Jane's will do an excellent job of that throughout the conference. But I do, however, want to acknowledge the Minister for Trade, Tourism, Major Events and Sport, Stuart Ayres. Fantastic to have you here, even though I think you had to jog it down the road to be with us this morning. But I think what I'm really chuffed about, I've just found out that it's not just about the relevance of your portfolio, Minister, but I understand your electorate extends to the foothills of Blue Mountains, which makes you practically Blue Mountains family. So welcome to the family. Like the Minister, and I don't need to expand on it, we all appreciate the importance of this sector. In 1950, there were 25 million international tourists. By 2010, 940 million. By 2030, just 14 years from now, they're talking about 1.8 billion. And that means an ever-growing demand for high-quality graduates who are employable. Growth in tourism has been mirrored by education worldwide. And if I talk about my own network, Laureate International Universities, we've grown in just 15 years to become, to have 88 universities in 30 countries and 1 million students across the world. And even in Australia, where we really have had Blue Mountains, I think since 2008, Jane, and have just started to expand our portfolio through the acquisition of Think and obviously creating that first new university in Australia for 20 years, where we've already got 14,000 students. The opportunities are enormous for high quality providers. So for me, really one of the exciting things that we're doing this year is taking that special sauce that Blue Mountains have and actually putting it into Torrens University. And this hasn't been done lightly. We've really been building Blue Mountains' credibility to make sure that we meet the gateway for popping Blue Mountains into the university through the research learning nexus. And TEXA have obviously agreed with our transition plan. And as we speak, we are transitioning the students across to the university. In Jerome's portfolio, I think it's important to know, out of Australia, we are servicing over 4,000 students already in this sector, and we obviously have significant plans to grow. So what makes Laureate different? Why did we get the invitation to come in and build a new university? It wasn't to look like the other 39 universities. Employability is at our core. And the way that we work with industry really co-creates curriculum and makes sure that the only indicator that I've got, the only KPI that my boss is worried about when he's sitting down with me at the end of the year is how many of my graduates are employed and what salary are they earning, because that really is the measure of our organisation. So the theme of this conference is the changing landscape. I think that applies to education too, globally as well as in Australia at this time. And it's really critical, and we are so proud to be hosting conferences like this, really genuinely so that industry and our customer, the student and our academics work closely together to ensure that we are meeting need now and into the future. So thank you for coming. Thank you for enjoying Sydney. I'm sure you had an amazing night last night, and I'm sure you're going to have a few more amazing nights before you toddle back off to your corner of the world. I think there's even a Scottish university in here, so I was quite proud to see that with this Scottish accent. So, education is all our business. It certainly is this sector's business. And I would it's my absolute pleasure to invite Minister Ayres to speak to you, and I wish you all the best for the conference.